Stanley Young arrived at the facility, a temporary observer, yet a profound dread settled deep within him. The sterile clinical environment, pristine and ordered, felt less like a sanctuary of healing and more like a tomb for the soul. He sensed a sinister undercurrent, a chilling purpose beneath the gleaming surfaces. This was not science in pursuit of healing, but in pursuit of dominion. The realization struck him with the force of a physical blow, a cold, creeping horror. He had stepped into a laboratory of shadows, where light itself seemed to bend to a darker will. Outwardly, it presented as a high-level research institute, a beacon of progress. But Robert Fence's declaration echoed in the polished halls, a chilling pronouncement. Here is where the future is forged. The air itself, thick with the scent of bleach, ozone, and metallic tang, spoke of scientific precision, yet its intent was profoundly disturbing. Robert Fence, the architect of this dominion, moved with an unsettling grace. His voice, smooth and commanding, carried an arrogance born of absolute self-assurance. He was the undisputed leader of a cabal, a hidden network of powerful individuals. His vision was a terrifying tapestry woven from eugenics, immortality, and absolute control. Fence saw himself as a god, shaping humanity to his will. Beside him, Guido, a brilliant but manic scientist, buzzed with an unsettling energy. Guido was the mind behind the weaponized viruses, CRISPR-edited pathogens designed for specific, devastating effects, aerosolized for maximum reach. He believed caution was for the weak, that history belonged only to the daring. His creations were not just tools, they were declarations of a new world order. Robert Fence rejected the very notion of traditional morality. He saw himself unbound by the frailties of flesh, immune to disease, aging, or death. Superstition and conventional morality were mere shackles, cast aside in his relentless pursuit of power. His tools were eugenics, selective breeding, and advanced gene editing. His goal was nothing less than to elevate man beyond man, to become a god in his own right. He desired to be the architect of a new Eden, to transcend mortality itself. The first pandemic, he explained, was merely a rehearsal, a series of trial runs. It was designed to shutter churches, to silence economies, to enslave nations through fear. People, he observed, begged them to rule, their fear opening the gates to absolute control. Chaos was unleashed, yet people thanked them for it. The orchestration of fear, the manipulation of media, the unraveling of the social fabric, all were deliberate. The ultimate goal was compliance, the absolute silencing of dissent. This grand design involved global collaboration, a strategic alliance forged in the shadows. The Wuhan Pact, a clandestine agreement with the Chinese government, was a cornerstone. Chinese virologists refined the virus sequence under the guise of legitimate research. Beijing saw it as a testbed for control, a hammer for dissent. Viruses were to be released strategically before elections, to justify mail-in ballots, to lock down entire nations. This was the blueprint for extracting compliance and silencing any opposition. Stanley's revelation was a crushing weight. The chaos and suffering he had witnessed were not accidental. They were a symphony of control, meticulously orchestrated. Masks, mandates, closures, panic, all were scripted elements of a grand design. Fear, he realized, was the primary tool for manipulation, the invisible hand guiding humanity. The first pandemic was a study, a blueprint to understand how fear spreads, how media amplifies panic. They observed how the social fabric unraveled under isolation. They identified the demographics that resisted and those that complied without question. This was not just about a virus. It was about understanding the human psyche under duress. It was a chilling lesson in control. Robert's ultimate goal was population management, the culling of the useless. Only the worthy should inherit the earth, those deemed fit for his new world. He would stand as the architect of this new Eden, seen as a god by the survivors. The blueprint for the future was laid bare. Population reduction to sustainable levels, integration with digital currency, inoculations as gateways, not shields. Faith would be dismantled through science, obedience enforced through famine, disease, and terror. Stanley's spirit was crushed by the weight of this revelation. They were not just controlling humanity, they were dismantling it, piece by agonizing piece. Unnoticed, he watched the abyss open before him, a chasm of despair. Robert's whispered words to Guido cut through the silence, a chilling promise of what was to come. The next one, he murmured, his voice barely audible, will not be survivable.